A reading from the Gospel according to Matthew. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, asking, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we have observed his star at its rising, and have come to pay him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all Jerusalem with him. And calling together all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. They told him, "In Bethlehem of Judea." Then Herod secretly called for the wise men, and sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go, and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word, so that I may also go and pay him homage." When they had heard the king, they set out. And there, ahead of them, went the star that they had seen at its rising until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. On entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. Then, opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their own country by another road. Thanks be to God. It always surprises me how quickly we move on from Christmas. Like you go into a store on St. Stephen's Day and there are already candy hearts and valentines in the aisles. I suppose that's because from a retail standpoint, we start celebrating Christmas in August. But while the timing is off, this abrupt shift has some parallels in Scripture, especially in the Gospel of Matthew. Contrary to nativity sets in the Western world, although wise men don't appear in Christmas, they appear in Epiphany. Epiphany, which is the significantly more mature second installment in the story, much like The Empire Strikes Back. But in our story, it's not the emperor, but the emperor's puppet, King Herod, who is the ultimate bad guy. We meet him when foreign astrologers who have traveled a long way appear in his court, and they are erroneously trusting both Herod's good intentions and his knowledge, and they ask the location of the Christ child. And Herod says, "Well, when you find him, let me know so I can worship him." And by worship him, he means murder him. We know that Herod would have made good on this threat if he could, because in the passage immediately following today's text, Herod orders the murder of countless children. This is an unpleasant and oft ignored part of Jesus' birth narrative, but it is at the very heart of Epiphany, and therefore it is at the very heart of our Christian journey of faith. Because from the very beginning, Jesus is not safe in the world. This would have been easier for his first followers to understand because they, as both Jews and Christians, were not safe in the world. We, Gentile Christians, and speaking for myself, a white Christian, who live in post-Christian hegemony in the West, kind of need to be reminded of this from time to time. And we are, by the teachings of monastics like Thomas Merton, and by the lives and deaths of martyrs like Archbishop Oscar Romero and Sister Mara Clark. If our faith is not one of taking risks, then it is not true faith. It is convenient certainty. If our faith is not one of taking risks, it is not true faith. It is convenient certainty. This kind of faith, this risk-taking faith, this you might not be safe in the world as it is kind of faith is the faith that dreams are made of, the dreams that matter anyway, the I have a dream kind of dreams, dreams that dare to imagine a different world, that dare to live into God's dream of the poor being satisfied, of the rich being turned away empty, and of all flesh seeing God's glory together. So on this first Sunday of the calendar year, we ought to ask ourselves, how will we be a part of the holy dream, this risk-taking, numinous, holy dream in the coming year? How will we walk in this journey as a church? How will we walk on this journey in our individual lives? One way is for us to stay focused on God's dream and to imagine our place in it. Once again, we will do this by practicing star words. It's just what it sounds like. It's a word on a paper star. And if you're part of Christ Church, you should have already received a star word in the mail. If you haven't received one, whether you're a part of our church or not, simply send us an email and give us your mailing address and we'll send you one. The words are chosen at random and they're all concepts or principles, lovely words like light and kindness, but the best words are the difficult words, words like gentleness and patience and mercy, words that challenge us, words that make us shift our understanding, words that encourage us to take risks. I encourage you to put your star word in a place where you will see it often and to look for how the word is calling you to live differently, to dream differently, and then to trust in the dream that comes. After they encounter Christ, the Magi trust in the dream that God sends them. They do not acquiesce to the false powers of this world, but instead they allow God to show them the way back home, and they go differently. They go home differently because they are changed. I don't know what path this next year will take. I can only imagine. But in so much as we pay attention to our God-given dreams, we can trust that we walk in the light of Christ. We can trust that we are not alone when we take risks. We can trust that our lives will be transformed by God in this journey that we are on together. Thanks be to God.